Welcome to the show, guys. It's episode number 24, Darkness. We're gonna start the show off with a little bit over-the-air frequency tune-in with the sound bowl. So, hope everybody has been doing well. The last show was on compassion. This show we're going to talk about darkness and what darkness actually is, or the perception that we would label as darkness. So darkness. Let's just start off with the energy quality of darkness versus light. Darkness is a passive energy. It's passive of light. If you come in a room and you turn on a light, the darkness doesn't seep out the cracks from the door and around the window. The darkness is transmuted to light. This is how darkness works on all levels. Darkness does not actually exist, because you are light, and anything that we would deem or someone would judge to label as darkness is merely a being of light, that you are being passive of your light. And when your actions are products of that absence of the light that you are, this is the actions that we would call dark or darkness, because the light that you are is only love and compassion. in any actions that you do out from that compassion, and that compassion in action is the whole laundry list of judgmental, egotistical, ignorant actions. And so the reason why Jesus never called anyone a sinner is because he understood that the essence of the Creator, the one source, the Father, but it's masculine and feminine energy. You can't have one without the other. It takes both qualities to create all the way to this reality in the 3D where masculine and feminine plays out with different private parts, but your mind and your body, or your brain and your body, contain both sets of chemicals, and the two hemispheres of the brain would also be labeled as masculine and feminine. And so gender applies above and below on all planes. So reference as source as the Father seems to like the acknowledgement of the gender principle of creation. That's why I like source, creative energy, love light, love and light. A lot of relations would be mother as earth, mother and father, the two that make us and everything you see on this glorious paradise that we call earth, in this magnificent creation reality that we call life. So darkness doesn't actually exist. There is only light, and then there is the passiveness of that light. Light and darkness are just different degrees of vibration on the spectrum, from a high vibration to a low vibration. This is higher frequencies. We talk about frequencies, vibrations. Well, everything is that frequency and that vibration. Good and bad, light and dark, hot and cold. Everything is just a varying degree of the same thing with a different vibration from one extreme to the other, to a vibration that is so slow that it's nearly still, to a vibration that is so high that it is nearly still. And hot, cold, light, dark, good, bad, anything you want to label are in essence the same of the yin and the yang, and just different variations of vibrations in between that. And so I hate to hear people say you can't have light without the dark, you can't have darkness without the light, and all that jazz. The way the energy of it, just the energy aspect of it, darkness is just passive. And so you can have light without the darkness, but can you really be grateful of that light and that experience of that higher vibration without have experienced the lower vibrations of the same degree? It's kind of the natural law of the pendulum. Vibrations. So just looking in to dark and light as the energy of passive and active, and how you could be in the most darkest of darkest places and just light up a match. So very little light comes off that match, but that small amount of light and all the darkness, as far as you can't see, that light shines. It wins over the monumental amount of the darkness surrounded by the smallest little flicker off of a match. And that also corresponds with you, yourself, and your life, and the essence that you are, that piece of creation, that light inside, that God inside. It's funny how sometimes the smallest little light of what people possess and when they show it and act upon it, on how it affects so many other people. It is your unique piece of creation, is that light, and that love, and that compassion. And love transmutes. Love transcends all dimensions. Light transcends any darkness. Always will, always has, because the darkness is just passive of the light. It is not separate from it. Just as you are not separate from the source, the creator. And you can do no wrong, because you are beautiful creations, beautiful creators in the creation matrix that we call life. Like, you constantly create, you can't not create. Can you stop thinking, talking, performing actions? Every thought is creating. Every word is carrying a creation and a vibration. Every action is also doing the same. And whenever we take these actions and these thoughts and words, and we are passive of the light that we are, that is where the lower vibrations of this reality come about. It is because we went through this this age, the Piscean age, this whole era of unbalance, of the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. We have been unknowing of the light that we are, and it's been all that knowledge has been kept secret, because at one point you would be killed for this knowledge. This is ancient knowledge. It was known, and then it wasn't, and now it's becoming known again. And so this age that we have went through, where we were passive in our actions and in our knowledge of the light that we are, seemed very dark. But it was just merely passive of the light. It's part of the growing experience, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we have been spiritual babies, and now we're starting to grow, maybe to walk, talk, whatever kind of growing reference we could add to that. It's a spiritual evolution. It's part of the change, the constant change. The only thing that is constant is change, because everything is always in motion. So darkness, through all kinds of varying teachings throughout history, have taken on many names and forms. But considering we are a piece of the all, and we are all experiences this ever happened and that will come, we were the ones in the past that we're acting passive of the light that we are. We come up with these terms of demons and angels and sin and judgment, heaven, hell, all these different varying degrees of a spectrum that is just one. Everything is one. Everything comes from the one source. Everything is an expression of the one source, which is love and light. Nothing cannot be a part of this source, this creation frequency. So there cannot be no darkness, there cannot be no demons, there cannot be no hell. These are all perceptions of the mind. Demons are you. You are the demons or the angel. Do you become prideful? Pride could be a demon. Doesn't have to be a person or a name or an entity. Could just be the mere expression that you are passive of what you actually are. And so when you're passive of that compassion and you take on your ego self, you identify with this avatar, this vessel, this meat suit of the flesh, of the world, however you would like to portray it, and you lack that compassion, which is the essence and the light and the beauty that's inside in each and every one of you. That's when you take on these demons of pride and anger, greed, being of the world, as one teacher explained at one point in time. Being of the world, like, do you crave fame? You crave money? Crave pretty women and fast cars? These things are of the world. They're part of the illusion. But it's no wonder that everyone is so passive of the light, because of the history of what we've been taught. The future of what we would call smart people will be the ones who are able to release everything they've been taught and be open and receptive to learning new things. These are the real smart people. And so think for how long, everywhere you've turned around, something has been instilling what we would call darkness into your mind, your body, and your soul. I mean, we just start off with everything you've been taught about life as far as spirituality and life and death and heaven and hell goes. Heaven and hell is a state of mind. The mind, the all, live in a giant mind while possessing a mind in the image of God. If God had an image, it would be the neurons of a brain that contain all of creation, all the universes, with all the solar systems and all the planets and all the beings inhabited them. It's a giant neuron network of the all, the mind, the source, the one source frequency is the electric impulse of the neurons of all existence. The plasma that you can't see that holds all this together. The processor to this simulation that we call life. And so heaven and hell exist here in this vessel, in this existence, with the image of God that you pertain inside of your skull, the mind, the sender and the receiver, part of the Trinity, your mind and your heart and your body. With these hands and this mind in this vessel, well, we can do anything. Can you not see? It's 2018. Has anybody seen a stopping point of creation? A stopping point of growth? There is no end game. There's only further expression and further growth back to the singularity, the source. It's all about unity of love and compassion. It's going to bring us all together. And the more we come together with one another, the more we let our light shine, the more the darkness has no choice but to be transmuted into the light. Well, the darkness never had a chance. It's passive. It's not an active energy like light. Just because there was an absence of light, and there may have been widespread darkness, that's not even, it's still passive. It never had any power. It just had a grander perception, a higher control. Well, guess what? Not anymore. Everything is changing. And it all starts with you. It starts with you realizing that hell isn't real. It starts with you realizing that darkness does not exist. You are light. And when you act passive of the light that you are, you're still just a bright light, doing less light actions, thoughts. Oh, what a magnificent light you still are, and no matter what you do. So free yourself of this illusion of darkness and realize that you are just a spiritual baby. You've never had anyone tell you truth, expose you to the light that you are. I mean, Most religions separate you from truth, separate you from the oneness, separate you from what's inside of you. You're not going to find anything out here but your reflection. That's all you're going to find outside of yourself, is a reflection of the fruit that you bear, the energy that you are putting out with your mind and with your words and your actions, with your creative energy. I mean, we've all been slaves on multiple levels, spiritual slaves, physical slaves to the system. First they enslaved you spiritually and mentally, because that is the only way that you can be enslaved. Because true freedom comes from within. Once you realize that you are a beautiful light, and there's no such thing as sin, and there's no such thing as hell, and there's nobody judging you for anything except for your reflections. So if somebody's judging you, you're probably judging yourself. Go easy on yourself. Just a spiritual baby. You didn't know no better. But I can tell you that the source that we all come from, what we hold inside of us, is a love that you can't even comprehend. Like, your idea of love is still wrapped up in the ego and the perception of this reality. Because your love is still judgmental. If you love someone, you accept them for who they are, through their good actions and their bad actions, with no judgment whatsoever. True love has no judgment, has no ego, has no expectations. That is the source of all creation. That pure love that most can't even comprehend in this experience. Many have dedicated their lives. Monks, nuns, dedicate their entire lives to praying and focusing and intent on that source energy, which is a love that transcends all dimensions, a love that is uncomprehendable to the human mind. It is something that can only be experienced. And then when you learn to express that true love, why, you become a master of this game, this reality, this Maya, this illusion that we call life. So it's no wonder that everybody's so judgmental. That's all everyone's ever been taught. From the very ones that people have seeked out for a higher knowledge of self and of spirituality, these very same ones are the ones that have instilled you with the darkness, the illusion, the separation. Why? They've been merely wolves in sheep's clothing. How sad, right? But it's nothing to be sad about, because it's a new day, it's a new age, it's a new era. Everything is changing. The light is getting brighter. the vibration is increasing. I know if you turn on your boob tube, your TV, or you tune into current events, it might seem oh so dark. Because you see all of this, all these actions, passive of the light, all that shit's been going on forever. Just the masses didn't know about it. So because the darkness is being seen, the darkness is transparent, it helps more awaking to the light and the knowledge. But you have to be careful to what you tune into. You have to be a master of your mind before you can even watch programming. It is called programming for a reason, because you've been programmed by the TV and the media and all that. You have to be a master of the mind before you can even approach any of these things, because they were designed specifically to control your mind. I mean, it's no wonder everyone is so passive of the light that they are. From religion to politics to what your family, friends, your society, and everything has perpetuated this passive energy from ignorance and lack of knowledge. I mean, ignorance, the demon of ignorance, you know. So if someone casts demons, it didn't require holy water or sayings or any kind of stuff like that. If I was to cast demons from someone, I'll try to figure out what their demons are. Addiction, pride, lust, envy. And then I would try to show them the light and the essence and the freedom of who they really are, and how that they are never alone, and that they are masters of their reality. And they are the ones that heal themselves, cast out their own demons by overcoming those passive qualities that we would call pride and jealousy and greed. Holy water is not going to help that. A priest is not going to help that. What's being possessed by demons isn't projectile vomit and your head spinning around backwards either. Possession is a whole lot more simpler than that. We've all been possessed by demons at some point. It happens. It happens with the lack of knowledge of the light and the essence that you are. It happens when you're separated from yourself. It happens when you don't know thyself. But it's not your fault. We've all went through this experience. This is our experience for our growth. This is our stepping stones. This is how we climb up to a higher frequency. Is by experiencing all of the spectrum from the high and the low. To be aware of it. So awareness goes a long way. Be aware. Be awake. Be aware that you cannot sin. You will not be judged after this game is over. This one experience of many. If anyone was to judge you, it'll be you. You chose to come here. You picked out certain situations. You made these events come to you so you could learn from them, you could transcend them. And if you don't, and you go back to who you are, the watcher of yourself, or the one, which is you, and you chose to come here for a lesson and you didn't learn it, well, guess what? You understand that. You know what you wanted to do. So you will come back to learn again. Because you are the one. This is the mirror. Life is a mirror. This is all a reflection. You can master your perception and change your reflection by being aware of your thoughts, and your words, and your actions. And you manipulate what you see in the mirror, because it's your mirror, because you are it. You are the one. You are the one that you've been waiting for. Because I am just you, telling you what you think you need to hear to remember who you are, so you can be a better you than you were yesterday. So awareness of your light. Awareness that darkness is a passive energy, and that it really doesn't exist. It is just part of the illusion that we have created. And so, through the history of falling into the ignorance, the lack of knowing our essence and our light, has made the reflection of today's world, which is massively changing so much, so fast. I mean, we've been here millions and millions of years. Just in our own tiny history books that we have, I can show you the last 120 years where the change is magnificent. The darkness has been transmuting the entire time. I mean, early 1900s, World War I, You know, before that it was slavery. Then you had this increased energy, this wave, this breath that we gave ourselves. The era of the flower child. We had desegregation, women's rights. It was monumental energy and change that come very fast and is still rippling today. Because every action, every thought, everything is a ripple in this reality. And so that change just increased. I mean, look at the growth in technology in the last 100 years. No phones, no electricity, no running water, no bathrooms, well, outhouses, no sanitation, no computers, obviously. I mean, just with no electricity. How many can actually wrap their mind around that one? Oh, so the change has been so grand, so beautiful. It's been fast. It's getting faster. Because great things are coming. The new age, the new era. The awakening to the light within. The great awakening. The second coming of Christ. Christ consciousness. The golden age. We are it and we are here. So be aware of your light. Act from your light always. The compassion in action. The golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Know thyself, love thyself, treat others the way you want to be treated. Try to always act from compassion. Beautiful times that we are in. I don't care what anybody else thinks who is still passive of their light and still in the illusion of the world is falling to pieces and the president and this and that. Not my reality. For all these things have always been there. And now they're slowly going to go away because somebody lit a match. There's a small light that someone lit somewhere, and it's been rippling on and transmuting darkness. And so I light my match. One person sees my light. Or 5 people see my light. And then 5 people see the lights of one of the others. Of the 5. And so it's monumentally growing. For the seed of light has been planted in the beginning. So there's nothing to fear. There's no reason to humor the passive energy that we call darkness. You know, tuning into these these certain teachings, New Age teachings that teach separations, no different than religion, Christianity, all these other organized religion, or tuning into the politics, unless you are aware of how you create, even the music you listen to, or the movies you watch. You know, when you watch a movie, you know, you're yelling at the TV and you're just immersed in the experience. Well, this reality, this is a movie, and you are immersed in your vessel, in your avatar. You're immersed in this illusion, thinking that you are something that you're not, because you are light. You are a master creator. So become the watcher. Watch. Watch so you can perceive clearly, so you can control your thoughts and your actions. So if you tune into politics and all current events and all this stuff, you have to turn off. You have to be in control of your mind, because if you're not controlling your mind, somebody or something else is. It's that simple. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So as you, I mean, I don't even watch TV, but if I was to like watch the news, which I would never do, people might talk shit because I'm not into current events and all that, but I've been down that road for a long time, and that's behind me. All the truths of the past is all well known now, and I'm changing my reality with my actions, because I already know these things that people are just now starting to realize. And so my actions, my thoughts, my energy, and all my vibrations, all that is going towards what I can change by my own actions and my own way of life. So that's how I handle current events. But some are into those kind of things, and they're meant to be, because that is their passion, their energy, their path to help show others that part of the illusion. But to be able to tune into it and not let it influence you. For as if you see all the bad things that are happening, which have always happened, and you put it in your mind and you thinking about it, well, you're giving it fuel, you're giving it energy, because you are a master creator. So unless you can watch it without bogging down on it, then don't. Because if you are, you're helping create that same old energy, that same old paradigm, by giving it that energy. You wanna watch the news? Well, turn on the news. See things that are falling apart, and send compassion and love towards it. As you've not seen, everything has been designed to separate you from you. Politics is the worst. The illusion is so obvious. I mean, the left and right wing of the same bird. The illusion of choice. Like choosing between a giant turd and a douchebag. It's a loss either way. That's an illusion of choice, an illusion of freedom, the easiest tactic in the book, divide and conquer. It's the same thing your religion has done. Those organized religions was created to help separate you from the one that you are. You're not a sinner. There's no such thing as darkness. You will not be judged for anything that you do by your passive actions of the light that you are. Nothing can ever take the light that you are away from you. So release any fear and any judgment upon yourself. Find the love and light inside. Find that true freedom that can't no one give or take away from you. For as where I live here in the States, they're constantly telling us, you're free, you're free, you're free, you're free. Well, guess what? I am free, and I don't need a damn person to tell me that I'm free. This country is not free. But I am free because I am liberated, and I don't give a fuck about any man-made laws, any man-made religions, or any of that shit. Because I am fearless. Because I am free. I am liberated. I am reborn. I am resurrected. The light within me has saved me. I've been saved by the light. Nothing in this illusion can take the essence of the light. For darkness is merely passive of light. Always will be. And so it is. So, let's see if we got any watches. Any watches? Questions? Comments? What about karma? Karma is it's part of natural law. Everything happens for a reason. Every effect has its cause. It's part of the natural law. And either you are moved by life, by the natural swing of the pendulum, you are effects to the cause, or you become aware and you become a cause to the effects. Of course we shouldn't judge ourselves. Everything that we do to ourselves, we do to others. For this is all you. So why do you think these religions have a judgmental God? Why is there a hell? Why is God judgmental? Because humans have the quality to applying human characteristics to the source by their passive thoughts and actions of the light that they are, by taking on the demon of ignorance and judgmental, the demon of judgment, the demons of sin. These are qualities that are passive of the light. Any action that is passive of the light is just that. It is passive of compassion and love. And you should not act any kind of way towards yourself other than compassionate and loving. That way you can act compassionate and loving to your fellow man, your friends, your family, strangers. For I remember seeing someone, a Christian person was talking about how, what would you do if you were face to face with God? Well, the real question is, what do you do when you're face to face with God? How do you act whenever you meet a stranger? Or how do you act towards your family and friends and loved ones? For each interaction that you have in your mind, each interaction you have face to face is with what you would call God. Do you talk to me the way you talk to God? Would you judge God? Why would you judge yourself? That's the problem. Humans, man, they judge the source. Either they are mad at the source for all the bad things, or they have another entity they blame it on. Satan, Lucifer, the devil. Because we're in the duality of reality. And once you shed the reality of the duality and realize that it's all one, it's all you, then maybe you can strip away these tendencies. Because you don't need judgment to grow. How can you not grow? You can't not grow. You have to cease to exist to not grow. And you cannot cease to exist, for you were never born. You can never die. Energy cannot be diminished or destroyed. It can only be transmuted. So you can't stop growing. You can't stop creating. It's not possible. appreciate everyone joining me tonight on the episode. I hope to see you all again Thursday after next. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/higherfrequenciesnc. You can catch our episodes on the website higherfrequencies5d.com. It has all the episodes. You can catch all the episodes on YouTube at Higher Frequencies on YouTube. You can get the last 10 episodes and listen on Google Play and iTunes. I hope that you all feel as blessed as I do. Catch you in a week or so. Peace and love. Namaste.